Live from the Peterson Event Center on the campus of the great University of Pittsburgh inside Pitt Studios. This is the Pat Narduzzi Show. I'm Larry Richert with head football coach of your Pittsburgh Panthers, Pat Narduzzi. Coach, hard to believe we're in week 5, getting ready for the first road game of the year. And we were almost ready for an audible at the beginning of the show, but in true professional class, you stepped right in. Here you go.
No doubt about it. Yeah, game 5. It's been a long time. It seems like a long season. It's been an interesting season. There's been a lot going on, on the field, off the field with this pandemic and, a lot of things to juggle as a head football coach and really as a staff and trainers and all that. But our kids have handled it well. We're blessed to see another Saturday, and looks like we're moving in that direction. And we're looking forward to heading up to Boston and taking on the Eagles.
The Eagles are 2-1, 1-1 in the ACC. Your Panthers, of course, 3-1, also 2-1 in the ACC. I know it's disappointing because of the emotional swings of last week's game. For fans, they have to know win or lose, you go through a process, and then once you close the books, you're on to the next game. So it's a 1-0 theory. But to a man, all week, the players that we've talked to, Coach, have just a real business-like attitude, very professional in the way they handled it, but that stung for everybody.
It definitely did sting. I mean, I think, sometimes it's easier to lose by 50 than to lose like that. Your offense had a drive down the field. They score with 1:44 to go, and you're going to put one of the best defenses in the country out on the field, and they made plays and we didn't make a play. But it didn't happen in that last series. It happened earlier in the game. It happened in the first half. I think we were a little exhausted. We had a 17-play drive to start that game off. I think it caught our guys off guard, and I'm not sure we ever really recovered. I mean, we started off with 3 bad series, and then there was in between we were really good, and then the last couple series of the game we just didn't finish.
I think you found yourselves on your heels, but then you battled back, and then you took the lead, as you said, and as you've often told us, and I know you tell your players, it's one play, it's those little things combined that add up, and they made one more play, 1 by 1 point. But I would put your defense on the field in that scenario at the end of a game, and 99 out of 100 times, maybe they don't score.
Yeah, there's no question. I cannot remember the last time we haven't really won a 2-minute drill on defense. You may remember. Bostic may remember later. Maybe we'll have to ask him that. But it's just you have a lot of trust in what you do, and when something like that happens, you kind of go, whoa, we better go back and look what we're doing. But 90-play game, we just kind of wore out at the end. We didn't get much of a pass rush. He was getting rid of it. And I told you Leary was a good football player. And,
you did.
And I thought he was really good. I didn't have any questions who was going to start. I thought he made some great decisions, got the ball out of his hand. We couldn't get pressure, and we didn't make enough plays in the back end to get a coverage sack.
Well, looking at both teams, that definitely their quarterback, Devin Leary, was the difference for them, certainly, because a lot of people didn't know what to expect. You did say you thought he had a lot of talent, had a slow start with dealing with COVID issues, but he ramped up and performed very well. So it ended up being a quarterback battle, and unfortunately Kenny Pickett had his best career effort with 411 yards. He's a warrior, Coach. He took a pounding, and I'll tell you what, he was impressive.
He reads coverages. He had an unbelievable game. He really did. And I'll tell you a couple secrets after the season's over. But I was happy for the way they played our passing game. We didn't obviously run it the way we wanted to, but we threw for more yards and we rushed for more yards than the opponent in that game. And everybody can complain about what we did, but it's just those little plays. Whether it's a 2-point play or whether Turner gets in on that one touchdown where we go down, and when we're on the goal line, we got 4 plays, and I could kick a field goal and put my man Kessman back out there. Probably should have, but every rule in the world tells you to go for it and make him go 99, so that's kind of what it was.
And your offensive line coach Dave Borbley talked to the media, and he had an interesting observation, and that is after a game, you as coaches accept responsibility, the players accept responsibility, and it's really a combination of both. But you had said on Monday that your team, you noticed collectively as a team, this one they took on the chin, but they took it as men and with the resolve to turn things around.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about it. The guys you talked to this week, were businesslike, and our kids were businesslike Sunday night. There was no messing around, and I've seen after losses, guys having fun, and it's kind of like I look at them like, you guys get over it quick. But our kids were serious. They've been locked in all week. It's been a locked-in week so far.
When we come back, want to talk about your first road game and the game plan outside of actually the part on the field just to get started. Plus, special guests, Alex Kessman, the senior place kicker, ACC Player of the Week a week ago, and we'll also have the man that snaps the ball to him, Cal Adamitis from Central Catholic. All coming up. You're listening to the Pat Narduzzi Show on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. Back at the Pat Narduzzi Show here in the Pitt Studios inside the Pete. Coach, you see that in the beginning, you go, this is going to be easy all day.
You said that. I didn't say that. You said that, but, it's 60 minutes and, you kind of go, whoa, that was easy, but, there was a lot more to come.
Absolutely. But in that moment, it just seemed he was so open and he's just streaked down the sideline for the score. You go, okay, but they play 60.
It was a great, call by our offense. Something they changed. They changed up. That was supposed to be a tight end in that position earlier in the week, and they kind of worked it. And Coach Whipple woke up Saturday morning and says, I don't want that. I want to move. They just kind of switched positions, and it was a good move.
Yeah, Jordan Addison's had a great start to his young career here. I know he couldn't finish the game. Hopefully he'll be back for Saturday. We'll see. Meantime, talking about receivers, got to give a shout-out to your senior transfer from Maryland, DJ Turner, ACC co-receiver of the week. He had his best game ever as a player, and he's fun to watch. He's everything you guys said he would be, just like Jordan Addison is.
It's amazing. Thank God he's here in Pittsburgh. He's, big-time playmaker for us. I know Kenny really trusts him, and how do you not trust a guy that you throw to him, and, 95% of the time he's going to catch that ball and make something happen.
Road trip number one, and it's going to be different than any road trip you've ever taken in your entire life. What's the game plan before we get to the gridiron?
The game plan is obviously we're going to have a mask on the entire time. So, that's a 2-hour trip, and, really haven't even talked to them. We're talking about football right now, but tomorrow morning in our team meeting, we'll talk more about just the protocols as far as on that airplane will be the most important thing. We're traveling, we're going to eat our meal, but we're not going to get served on the plane by any stewardess. We'll have our food, but, kind of keep it to ourselves. I even told Coach Salas, coaches, we'll go around. We're safe. We'll go around, pick up the trash, and do whatever we got to do. Just keep the stewardess in the back of the airplane. We stay in a Westin hotel up in Boston. There'll be nobody else in that hotel, so we'll be there by ourselves. And, the biggest difference will be probably our locker room. We were really spaced out a lot at Heinz Field. Obviously, the facilities at Heinz are top-notch. We're actually using the Steeler locker room as well as ours, and they'll actually use ours as well, I believe. So we've got plenty of space. We're keeping our distance in there, but when you go on the road, the facilities aren't as, we'll be, stacked up on top of each other. I kind of said to our, ops guy today, I said, really what should happen is if you don't have the facilities to make sure everybody's safe, we should have home games every week in Pittsburgh. I thought that would be a great idea. I don't think we should have to play a away game with our facilities.
Well, I got to tell you, it's been fun. I mean, you get into a rhythm. We've had these noon kickoffs. This one's at 4 o'clock, and then we found out the Miami game's at noon, but that's down the road. Does that really change a whole lot? It's kind of in between that late game on a Saturday and that early rhythm you've gotten in by kicking at noon.
Yeah, it really doesn't change much. I mean, we won't have time to get a nap in. If it's a 7:30 game, we'll have nap time. It was interesting, reading an article yesterday, really this morning, on LeBron James, how he took his nap and then text the guys, hey, let's win, let's get it done today. And but he had his nap. So 7:30 game, we'll have a nap for our guys. We'll make sure they got their blankies and a snack, maybe some chocolate milk and some cookies. But a 4 o'clock game is like a noon game, except they get to sleep in, which I know they'll all enjoy. I think we got a 9 o'clock wake up on Saturday morning.
Well, special guests on the Pat Narduzzi Show this week, senior kicker Alex Kessman, Cal Adamitis, the long snapper from Central, and they will join us when we return. You're listening to the Pat Narduzzi Show on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network.
We have to have poise.
Welcome back to the Pat Narduzzi Show. Larry Richard with Coach's special guests, senior kicker Alex Kessman and long snapper Cal Adamitis from Central Catholic. Gentlemen, you took over the coach's seat. Here we go. Appreciate you coming in today.
Yeah, appreciate it. Appreciate you guys having us.
And Alex is closing in on Pitt's career field goals record, 52 career field goals. Chris Blewett, the guy you succeeded, had 55, so you got a great opportunity this year to do something special. You excited about that? I mean, you think of the history, 131 years of Pitt football. You could be that guy.
Yeah, I've heard of the record, and I know that I'm closing in on it, but I try not to think about that kind of stuff. But it's hard not to. It's very special, and I'm grateful for that.
And Cal, being a hometown guy is fun. Central Catholic, you were a tight end too, right?
Absolutely. Yep. Tight end.
My father-in-law used to tell my son who played football, he'd say, "You want to play in the NFL?" He goes, "Learn to be a long snapper and do it good."
Definitely.
So you won this job. You've had this job for a few seasons now.
Yep. Yeah. This is my 4th season right now. So doesn't seem like that long. It's been a good ride so far, but looking forward to a lot more snapping for sure.
And take us through the process. So it seems simple. You snap the ball. Kirk Christodoulou grabs it, puts it down, laces out.
Laces out, yes,
and
sir.
Then your timing. So how fine-tuned a process is that? It starts with you right up front.
That's a rotation thing.
Yep. So Kirk and I have nailed down exactly how many yards, even to the half yard, I need to be away from him so that he can catch the ball with the laces out, put it down, not have to spin it. Of course, there's a little margin of error at certain points, but Kirk's got great hands, good at spinning the ball, and Kesh just comes in and puts it through. So it's a nice operation.
Pretty easy.
And for you, as you're approaching becoming the all-time kicker in history of Pitt, I say that because you've got a lot of green to go. I know you're focused on Saturday. I get all that. But you had talked about getting the fine-tuning right for yourself. You talked to some kind of guru. Who's this guru? Maybe I need to talk to him about my golf game. His coach gives you the, not tonight.
No, I mean, Dr. Rosen is he's a special guy. Narduzzi knew him back in Michigan State, and he's helped me a lot. And he clears up anything that's going on up there. And he just told me to simplify things. Stop thinking too much and just simplify. You know how to kick the football, so just go kick the football.
You do. You've proven that many, many times in adverse conditions, adverse weather. You've done it, so you're capable. It's not like you aren't capable of doing it, so it's fine-tuned. Coach likened it to, a golf swing maybe where just a little adjustment can make a big difference. But glad to see you're on a roll right now, so
appreciate it.
That's good to see. Here's what I want you guys to do for me, if you would. On that flight, Coach Narduzzi said he may be walking around the plane picking up trash. If you could get me some
we'll get the
footage
phones
of that.
out. We'll get the phones out, no doubt.
He's giving them the death stare.
No doubt.
All right, when we come back, we'll talk about your first road trip, and we have a couple of questions. Pitt's Casey Garrow asks 10 questions every week. By the way, she's going to be talking to Money linebacker Phil Campbell this week. And when we come back, you'll hear more from Alex Kessman and Cal Adamitis. You're listening to the Pat Narduzzi Show on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. Alex Kessman, special guest here on the Pat Narduzzi Show. Cal Adamitis is the long snapper. And, guys, I feel like something's missing because you work so closely with your punter, Kirk Christodoulou. I feel like we should have him on the show. So through a special arrangement, he's joining us via the phone. Kirk, how you doing?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
I'm so glad you could take a few minutes from your studies because the guys, they just didn't feel right without you. And so Coach said, yeah, get them on the phone. So you're part of this trio. And your buddy here, Alex Kessman, says you guys spend way too much time together.
I think that's what he'd tell everyone, but it's a bit different when we actually are hanging out together. Yeah, we do hang out all day, I guess.
What's it like for you coming from Australia to Pittsburgh, USA? Obviously, you've adjusted well. You're having a great season as the Panthers punter.
Yeah, it's been one of those things that it's a true testament to how Pitt is as a family. I think it's very easy for normal, teams just to say that we're a family, but since day one, I felt very included in the Pittsburgh sort of family, and I haven't really felt as if it has been me moving halfway across the world, which is what I did. So, I'm really happy to have developed such great relationships with Cass and with Cal, but also with a bunch of my other teammates, and it's made this, stay in Pittsburgh just amazing.
What's the oddest thing about being an Australian in Pittsburgh?
I'm not sure. There's been a big variety of things, but I think just adjusting to the American culture and the way of life over here, it's a little bit different to Australia. And
how about the food, Kirk?
It's been saying that is that Cass just saying?
Yeah, Cass. How about the food?
Hey, mate.
I did bring up the food a lot, and it's something that I've grown to love the American food and lifestyle over here.
Have you ever treated those guys to a Vegemite sandwich?
I think I might have offered one, but
you gotta force me to eat it. You gotta force me to eat it.
I traded him for a permane sandwich.
Well, Kirk, I told Coach, I said, with your Australian accent, it doesn't matter what you say. It really sounds important.
Yeah, that's one of those things. I always ask Coach, not Coach Dizzy specifically, but we always thought there'd be a good chance of a specialist little segment. Maybe we do a video set, and I could narrate it and have Cal and Cass act in it. I think it'd be pretty good.
Yeah,
Day in the life maybe of a specialist.
You could go viral on TikTok down the road.
There'd be a lot of editing needed to be done.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
We're with Kirk Christodoulou, the Panthers punter, and we've got Alex Kessman, their kicker, and Cal Adamitis, the long snapper. This is the trio inside of that special teams that is so important. So, guys, I mentioned Pitt's Casey Garrow every week picks a player, asks 10 questions. We usually, Coach Narduzzi and I enjoy hearing about the music. We were shocked when Jimmy Morrissey, your center, said he listens to the Jersey Boys to get himself fired up, and then each player has different music. I'm curious, with Kirk being Australian, what music and artists do you listen to get yourself inspired for game week?
It's funny that you say that. So I have actually created a game day playlist that I listen to pre-game. And there's a little bit of an Australian feature in there in AC/DC, but a lot of it's just, heavy metal and rock. I like to just sort of get amped up and juiced up before a game, which you'd think is pretty unlikely for a punter, but that's just the way it's turned out to be.
You know what? Anyone listening loves you all that more because AC/DC in Pittsburgh and attitude, a punter with an attitude. You guys, you got to like that. Cal,
absolutely. Absolutely.
No doubt.
And Coach and I know AC/DC, so yeah. How about you, Cal?
To be honest, I'm actually not much of a music on game day guy. I don't know, I have a lot of juice as is. So for me on game day, my biggest goal is to just almost calm myself a little bit, kind of put myself in the right frame of mind. But throughout the week, I'm always listening to music. I get lost in it sometimes, so I think on game day I just need to be present. But
how about you, Alex?
I'm a big EDM guy. I not the whole club music, but maybe a calm,
a calm rhythm. What was that? Patrick
house.
Jones told us smooth music.
Smooth, yeah, something like that. Almost like he said Rod Wave, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. I like Rod Wave.
But he also said smooth music, which Coach and I were wondering, and I'm glad he was able to clarify.
Maybe
that.
like R&B, maybe like a smooth R&B. That's kind of my style.
Smooth music. Well, you guys have done a great job. So good luck on the road. Are you excited to take a road trip, Kirk?
Yeah, yes, sir. I love being able to travel, and it's been like one of my favorite experiences over here is being able to go and see each of the different schools we've been able to play and get a win, hopefully, this weekend.
All right. Well, good luck to you, and thanks for jumping on with us. We really appreciate it.
No worries. My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right. Panthers punter Kirk Christodoulou. He seems like a great guy, Alex. I don't care what you said about him earlier. Kirk.
No, he's a good dude. He's a good dude.
You guys make a tremendous trio, and appreciate you coming in today. Thank you, and good luck against the Boston College Eagles on the road.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Cal Adamitis, Alex Kessman, Kirk Christodoulou. When we come back, former Pitt quarterback Pat Bostic, and we'll break down the game itself. You're listening to the Pat Narduzzi Show and the Pitt Panthers Radio Network.
We got to be smart. We have to have poise. One, two, three.
Welcome back to the Pat Narduzzi Show. Panthers getting ready to go on the road for the first time in 2020. They are 3-1, going up against the Boston College Eagles, 2-1, 1-1 in the ACC. And joining Coach is former Pitt quarterback and associate athletic director of Major Gifts, Pat Bostic. Partner, good to see you.
I'm trying to see you, but this camera's in my way.
It's radio.
I know.
And TV. Yeah, you're right.
There's a camera here, so it's good.
It's radio. It's radio. Don't worry about the camera.
We're good then.
Coach, before we talk about the game itself, I really enjoyed your guys. That was really special to have all three of your real specialists on at the same time.
The specialists are special, that's for sure. They are they're a fun group to be around. They have fun. They get along so well. They stand together. And practice. They're together all day. If it's a 4-hour day, they're spending it all together. The rest of the guys are working hard, running around, and these guys are they got a little club down there by the Gatorade station, but they do work on the details, Larry. The details they're talking about. You know how hard it is to snap a ball the same way, the same speed, to the point where Kirk catches the ball and puts it down, and the laces are forward. They worked hard on that, and that's something that I don't know if everybody's got. You'll see a lot of holders have to flip the ball around, and it's spinning, and it causes some bad kicks. So Kess is thankful for those two.
Here's what you need to know about Boston College Eagles. Pat Bostic, brought to you by PNC Bank. Make today the day. What do you see when you look at the Boston College Eagles? They're under first-year head coach who used to be here at Pitt years ago for 5 seasons. And he seems like he's very excited, because of his relationship with Pitt. Jeff Hafley was co-defensive coordinator of Ohio State just a year ago. So how much has changed since you saw this team last year at Heinz Field, Coach?
They're a lot different, really. Coach Signetti's got them going. He's a pro-style guy, but they've spread it out a lot. They're going to play with 2 tight ends a lot. But really, the 2 tight ends are spread out. They're not lining up in a 2-back set like they did a year ago, just trying to pound it at you. Bailey, their tailback, who was the backup a year ago, really good football player, about 240 pounds, and he's a load to get down. They've really played from behind, really in all 3 games. They came from a 10-point deficit, even against Texas State. So they've gotten into a throwing game. So, I think the stats are a little bit misleading. They're a 60% pass team right now, but I would expect they'll be more like a 50-50 or even a 60-40 run coming into our ball game.
And, Pat, you looking at the quarterback, Pine Richland product, who was successful there, a state champion, went to Notre Dame, transferred to Boston College, and he's getting his first real, consistent time on the field. How do you assess Phil Jerkovic?
He's an athlete. He's a big athlete. He's tough to bring down. He got hit a lot in all 3 games, really, and avoids a lot of sacks by extending plays, makes plays outside the pocket, faster than people probably give him credit for, probably like a 4.6 guy. And he just doesn't look it because his strides are so long. He's so tall. Good strong arm. He's playing within the system. I played for Frank Signetti at Pitt, so a lot of the schemes and concepts look familiar, and how he trains the quarterback, you're seeing that rub off on Phil. And he seems to get better as the game goes on, too. Obviously, they've come from behind and almost won against Carolina. It was late. They were trying to tie it up with a 2-point conversion. Made some plays. And he's a competitor, tough kid. And you're definitely going to have to tackle him with 2 arms. You're not going to get him down with by a shoulder pad or one hand.
And, Coach, Kenny Pickett's dual threat. We always talk about the dual threat from the opposing team. So the idea is not to let Phil extend plays by running around back there. Obviously, that's part of your plan on defense.
No question about it. I mean, we'd like to keep him in the pocket if we could. He makes more plays out of the pocket running. He likes to escape straight ahead if he has his choice. But when he's on the run, he's looking to throw it, and he's got a cannon arm. He'll throw it anywhere. He looks like Brett Favre every time throwing back across the field. He'll flip that ball everywhere. So, like Pat said, Coach Bostic said, he's a load to get down. You're going to have to grab him and get him down. And he's, he is a winner. He really is. I mean, he's a guy that's a competitive individual. We know that from high school. He's fast. I wasn't surprised by his speed. I probably watched a little bit more tape on him in the recruiting process, but he's an athlete. I've watched him live in high school. He's a true football player.
Yeah, I saw him in his state championship game in Hershey, and you're right, the long strides, it's deceptive because he doesn't look like he's running that fast.
He gets moving pretty quick, though.
His favorite target, one of them is the tight end, Hunter Long, considered to be, top-notch tight end. You had some challenges last week with the tight ends down the middle. How do you rectify that for this week against BC?
Well, we got to tighten the coverage up a little bit. Obviously, he's looking for Hunter. He's a big 6'5", 250-pound guy. Angeline was probably a 240-pound guy that ran well. We just kind of left him open a few times, but we'll know where number 80 is. He is Waldo this week. They will also move him around. They'll motion him to get him on a matchup they want. So they're about matchups. And again, he'll push off, and we've seen that before. They'll push off, and he does a great job of getting open. He's a competitor as well.
So we talked about Boston College's offense. Let's talk about the defense, Pat. When you look at the tape, what do you see? BC's Eagles on defense?
Well, you see Jeff Hafley all over. That's what they do. They play a lot of man coverage. They get in your face. He worked for Paul Rhodes and Phil Bennett at Pitt, and Phil was obviously a big quarters guy. Paul Rhodes was very aggressive. Play a lot of man, mix up the front. So you're going to have a lot of one-on-one matchups, and they want to try to bring the game to you, and give receivers and tight ends opportunities to win one-on-ones, and Kenny a chance to have a pretty big day. But they're doing a better job than they did a year ago. I mean, they've improved tremendously on defense. You can see his imprint on them. They play fast, and they'll be ready to go on Saturday for sure. They got some good edge rushers as well.
All right, Pat Bostic, good to see you, partner, and we'll see you as we get ready for Boston College 4 o'clock kick. Good luck against the Boston College Eagles.
Thanks, Larry, and hail to Pitt. Let's get it done.
And we want to thank our executive producer, PJ Kamanchik, Amanda Soleil, producing here at the Pete, Cale Berger back in master control, plus his game day contributions. Pitt's Paul Bartow and his team will do an outstanding job with all their productions each and every week. Looking forward to our kickoff at 4 o'clock from Boston College. And the pregame starts at 2 right here on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. Larry Richards saying, hail to Pitt.